Before we begin, please note this story is intended for informational and educational purposes. Some scenes have been dramatized for storytelling clarity, but the facts are based on real investigative methods and publicly available reports. Everyone mentioned is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Viewer discretion is advised, as this video contains details that may be disturbing to some audiences. Join us as we dive deep into the haunting true story. For years, travelers checked into room 407 of the Ridgeway Motel, a nondescript stopover just off a forgotten highway, and simply vanished. These weren't dramatic, messy abductions leaving behind a trail of chaos. They were silent, seamless erasures from existence. One moment, a guest was registered, their car parked outside, their key in the door. The next, they were gone. No struggle was ever heard, not a single sound out of place reported by neighboring rooms. In an age of constant connection, their digital footprints would abruptly halt, every online presence frozen in time. The disappearances were clean, absolute, and utterly baffling, leaving behind a legacy of fear that seeped into the very walls of the motel itself. Security cameras, eventually installed to cover every conceivable angle of the corridor leading to room 407, only deepened the mystery. The footage was maddeningly clear and frustratingly simple. It showed the guests, a young couple on a cross-country trip, a weary salesman, a family heading home, entering the room, often with luggage in tow, looking forward to a night's rest. The door would close behind them, the deadbolt would slide into place, and that would be the last confirmed sighting. Hours, sometimes days, would pass. The cameras, rolling continuously, recorded nothing. No one was seen entering the room after the guests. More disturbingly, no one, including the guests themselves, was ever seen leaving. The room was a void, a one-way door to nowhere. When housekeeping staff, and later, law enforcement, finally forced their way inside after repeated unanswered calls, the scene they discovered was always eerily preserved. The beds were untouched, the sheets crisp and wrinkle-free as if freshly made. Wallets, heavy with cash and credit cards, sat undisturbed on the nightstands. Laptops were closed, car keys were left on the dresser, and every personal possession remained exactly where one might place it upon arrival. It was as if the occupants had been plucked from the air in the instant between entering and settling in. The only consistent, tangible clue was the state of their mobile phones. Lined up on the bedside table or charging by the wall, every single device was found powered off, its screen dark and lifeless. And when forensics teams managed to power them back on, the internal clocks all showed the exact same time of shutdown, a chillingly precise 2:19 a.m. This investigation delves into a timeline of unsolved disappearances stretching back decades, all inextricably linked to the quiet, unassuming confines of room 407. The pattern began long before the era of digital surveillance, making the early cases even more enigmatic. The first documented incident involved a pair of backpackers from Australia in the spring of 1998. They were vibrant, full of life, documenting their American journey with a film camera. They checked in, paid in cash, and were never seen again. Their developed photos, found in their abandoned rental car, showed them smiling in front of the motel sign just hours before they disappeared. Their story became a local ghost tale, a cautionary warning whispered among travelers, but it was only the beginning of a dark and repeating chapter. Years later, in 2005, a corporate accountant named Arthur Finch checked into room 407 during a business trip. A meticulous man of habit, Finch was known for his constant communication with his family and office. His last contact was an email sent at 10:45 p.m., confirming his safe arrival. The next morning, he missed a crucial meeting. By noon, his frantic wife had called the police. When they entered the room, everything was in its proper place, his briefcase neatly stored, his suit hung for the next day. The only anomaly was a 5-second voice memo discovered on his company phone. It had been recorded at 2:18 a.m., just 1 minute before the now infamous shutdown time. The audio was a frustrating mess of static and low-frequency humming, too garbled for an official transcript. Yet, some audio specialists who have analysed it over the years claim to hear a single, distorted word whispered amidst the noise, outside. Our team has painstakingly dissected the timeline, cross-referencing every known case with maintenance logs, staff rosters, and local incident reports. We have analysed hours of the security footage, frame by agonizing frame, searching for any flicker of light, any shadow, any anomaly the original investigators might have missed. The footage remains stubbornly consistent. The guests enter, the door closes, and the hallway remains empty until the police arrive. The camera's unblinking eye sees nothing. which is precisely what makes the events so terrifying. It's a magic trick without a magician, a disappearance without a perpetrator, defying every logical explanation and investigative technique. The enigma of Room 407 has spawned countless theories, from the mundane to the supernatural. Some investigators initially suspected a highly sophisticated human trafficking ring, one with an insider at the motel who knew how to bypass the cameras. Yet, no ransom was ever demanded, and no trace of the victims ever surfaced on any black market or database. Others proposed a chemical agent, a silent, odorless gas piped into the room that could incapacitate guests before they were removed through a hidden passage. Extensive searches, including tearing down walls and ripping up floorboards, revealed nothing. There were no secret doors, no hidden compartments, no ventilation shafts large enough for a person. The room was, by all architectural standards, completely ordinary. This lack of physical evidence has pushed many, including some grizzled detectives who have long since retired, toward more outlandish possibilities. Local folklore speaks of the motel being built on an ancient, disturbed piece of land, a place where the veil between worlds is thin. These stories suggest that at a specific time, under specific, unknown conditions, Room 407 becomes a gateway. The consistent 2:19 a.m. shutdown time is often cited as evidence, a sort of witching hour for this particular anomaly. Is it a temporal distortion? A localized dimensional rift? These are questions that science cannot answer, but they linger in the silence left behind by the vanished, offering a chilling alternative to the failures of conventional police work. But this investigation uncovered something more tangible than folklore. We found the one person who may hold the key to it all, the only surviving guest of Room 407. In 2012, a traveling musician named Elias Vance checked in for a one-night stay. The next morning, he was found, not in his room, but wandering in a daze on the highway shoulder nearly a mile from the motel. He was physically unharmed but in a state of profound psychological shock, unable to form coherent sentences. His car was still in the motel parking lot. His room, 407, was just as the others had been, wallet on the nightstand, phone powered off at 2:19 a.m. Elias Vance became the living, breathing centerpiece of the investigation. Yet, he was a locked box. For months, he was institutionalized, suffering from what doctors diagnosed as an extreme form of dissociative amnesia. He had no memory of checking into the Ridgeway Motel or of the events that led to him being found on the side of the road. His last clear memory was of driving in the late afternoon, looking for a place to stay. The intervening 12 hours were a complete blank, a section of his life that had been surgically removed from his mind. He was the sole exception to the room's deadly rule, the one who got away, but he brought no answers back with him. After years of therapy and a quiet, reclusive life, Elias has never regained his memory of that night. However, our investigation has unearthed his initial police interview, a recording that has never before been made public. In it, a deeply traumatized Elias struggles to articulate his experience. He speaks in fragments, his voice trembling, as he describes a feeling, not a sight. He talks about the wrong silence, a quiet so absolute that it felt loud, pressing in on him. He mentions a hum that you feel in your teeth and a sudden, paralyzing cold that had nothing to do with the room's air conditioning. He repeatedly states that he never fell asleep, but that he wasn't awake either. Most chillingly, he refuses to speak of what he experienced after midnight. Whenever the detectives gently probed about the hours leading up to 2:19 a.m., his demeanor would shift dramatically. He would become agitated, his eyes darting around the room as if searching for an unseen threat. The transcript notes that he would grip the arms of his chair and begin to sweat profusely, muttering, "You don't look. You never look." He would then fall silent, refusing to answer any more questions on the subject. To this day, he maintains that silence. His testimony, fragmented as it is, offers the only first-hand glimpse into the terror that unfolds within those four walls, suggesting a phenomenon that is not meant to be seen or understood, only survived. The Ridgeway Motel still stands, though Room 407 has been permanently sealed. It is no longer available for booking, its door bolted from the outside and its number removed from the corridor. But the questions remain, hanging heavy in the dusty air of the forgotten motel. What happens inside that room at 2:19 a.m.? Where did the dozens of missing people go? And what did Elias Vance experience that was so horrifying it broke his mind rather than taking his life? The answers may be locked away forever, in a room that no longer has a key and in the mind of a man who dares not remember. The story of Room 407 is a stark reminder that some mysteries may never be solved, and some places are better left undisturbed. It challenges our understanding of the world, suggesting there are forces at play that defy logic and investigation. If you found this exploration into the unknown as chilling as we did, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. We'll be back with more deep dives into cases that blur the line between reality and the inexplicable. Until next time, be careful where you check in. All visuals and audio elements are used under fair use for commentary and analysis. This story is shared to inform, not to sensationalize. Kindly subscribe to Mystery Arena for more intriguing stories. Here truth isn't hidden, it's uncovered. See you in the next story.